Guardian next. And Francis, it's almost like Labour have realised that 51% of the electorate are women.
Exactly. Although, who knows what a woman is, Andrew?
We don't know.
No, we don't know.
Scientists have been trying to find that out for years, and they just don't know.
The way that I go is I just listen to the one that complains the most, and I go, definitely a woman. Anyway, so Labour vows to modify, simplify...
Dear me, I'm shocked. Mate! Come on, mate.
And Reform Gender Recognition Act. So Labour plan to overhaul what they call an outdated law to make it easier for transgender people to transition while maintaining protections for single-sex spaces.
OK, so this is an article that Annalise Dodds, who's the Shadow Women and Equalities Minister, has written for The Guardian.
Yeah.
But aren't people going to be worried that if you make it easier to obtain a gender recognition certificate, that effectively you're ushering in self-ID, you know? And we know what problems that's caused.
Well, I've read through what she's saying, and I've read through several articles, and it sounds like a fudge, if I'm being...
Oh, really?
What it sounds like is they're trying to appeal to, let's just say, the more gender-critical, as in the vast majority of the population, and saying, look, we're not going to impinge on women's rights, that women's spaces will be respected, etc., but we're also going to make it easier for people to transition.
So this is where I think Labour don't understand what's going on here, Josh, because they think that they can... Like, in this statement by Annalise Dodd, she says, we're going to firm up the Equality Act so it's absolutely clear that you can have single-sex protected spaces. What she doesn't seem to appreciate is that a lot of the trans activists will say that's not good enough.
No, but this is a fudge, but I do think they know what's going on.
Right.
And I think that they've tried to have their cake here and eat it. And it's actually... Kemi Badenoch has come out and brought out a big thread online, basically, showing how the ridiculousness of this, because already the changes that Annalise Dodds is talking about, they have already made in terms of making it... They're not talking about self-ID. What this article in The Guardian fails to say at all is this is a massive backtrack from Labour.
Right.
Which is, 2 years ago, or up till now, their policy has officially been self-ID.
Yes.
Now they have done this whole... She's written this whole letter saying we're going to reform it, and then she sticks in at the end, oh, by the way, you know, we are protecting women's spaces, and it doesn't matter if you have this gender certificate or not.
This U-turn has come about probably because there's been more awareness from the public of what happens when how self-ID can be exploited. We saw this with Isla Bryson in the Scottish prison. You know, it's very clear to the people now.
Oh, yeah, it is very clear. And in the letter, she also threw the SNP under the bus, who basically had the same policy as them from 2 years ago. And they were saying, oh, they just wanted to have a little pop at Westminster, and it had really nothing to do with trans people or trans people's rights. Or, you know.
That's very cynical. Look, I don't support the SNP, but I don't think for a second they were pushing this through just to have a go at Westminster.
But also Scottish Labour was backing these policies as well. Right. So this is the problem, it's the hypocrisy here of this letter where she is basically making out that it's all a culture war and it's the Tories and they've done all the bad stuff and whatever. And essentially they've come out with a sensible policy, somewhat of a compromise, but people are angry because this stuff now that they're saying that we should respect single-sex spaces is what women have been saying for the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And they've been demonised, they've lost their jobs. Their own MPs, you have Rosie Duffield, who's just been villainised.
By members of her own party.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, and now Labour are turning around, and I'm glad they've got it. I'm glad they finally seem to understand this is important for...
Yeah, but I wish they wouldn't dismiss the opposite argument as just a culture war.
No,
right?
of course not.
It's so much more important than
of course it is. But now they're saying, but we're going to do it right. It's like, they've changed their tune. I'm glad that they have, but they should have been singing... I don't know where this analogy is going, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, trans women are women.
Thank you. There's a bit of balance there. Okay.